And we are live. So, ladies and gents, we know it's bad in the UK when the Indian authorities put out this statement. They are now warning their citizens to be careful if choosing a UK university to attend due to the, and I'm going to quote here, incredible levels of crime and violence in UK cities now, where the police don't even respond in many cases. This was an actual statement that was put out. And we've also got Indian news agencies as well here, writing stories saying that the British Empire isn't so great anymore. And how on earth, this line made me laugh, how on earth did the people living in the UK today control our great nation? So this is what we've just had coming out. Now I'm going to go through a load of statistics and data today, which is quite incredible. I've pulled it all together for you to save you a lot of time here on the UK and what's actually happening. It's unbelievable, actually. All of this data has just been dumped at the exact same time. So it went on to say then that the UK isn't a mecca anymore for Indians, as the country is becoming a hotspot for crime and illegal migration. And it's saying that the country is becoming completely overwhelmed. So there's a lot of information coming out here. I've got to get all this across to you because a lot of countries are talking about this as well. And it's only really the UK media that's trying to say that everything is fine. So we just had these reports out as well. In fact, it's incredible the amount of data dump that's just come out on UK statistics right across the spectrum, and on crime and shoplifting and a lot of other things here. So this is the latest report said as well, over 1 million children in the UK don't have their own bed and sleep on the floor, or they share a bed with another family member. Incredible. Childcare costs are now soaring over £600, an increase of £600 a month, as companies, gosh, that train was loud just then, insist on staff returning to the office. You probably noticed I'm not at home at the moment. What else did they say then? Less Brits. This was a weird one actually, guys. Less Brits are showering or taking baths to save money. And I thought, hold on, let me make a note of that. I need to come back and actually watch that one and read into that and how they got those statistics. But it was quite fascinating. So what they're saying is they correlated the sales of hygiene products, you know, shower gel and shampoos and bath bombs and all this stuff. And they also correlated that to energy. So oil, gas, electric, etc. And what they found was that it was correlated. So they think it's somewhere in the region of 25 to 30%. So Brits now are taking less baths and showers, and they've done these surveys and they've been asking people, and people have been saying that they are not showering as often. Some people are saying they're only showering every 3 or 4 days. Some people are saying they're not bathing anymore, they're not taking a bath like they used to, because to fill it up is too much hot water, etc. And the one thing that did make me laugh from the report, it said, unfortunately, people are having to resort to using bars of soap again, like the old days. Maybe I'm living in the old days, but I've always used bars of soap, always. So, you know, all this stuff about all these fancy shower gels and bath bombs and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, maybe I'm living in the past here, but I don't see anything wrong with using soap. But there you go, that's what they're talking about now. Now, UK inflation is one of the worst in the G20 at the moment. It's at 6.7%. And they're saying that inflation's coming down, it's all coming down, etc. Let me just say one thing around this here. In terms of the inflation at 6.7%, we're about to go into winter, which means, and the oil price has just gone up. We're also seeing gas prices, we're seeing all these other prices that are going up at the moment. And all of that is going to feed into the inflation. What about the food stuff? It was amazing to me how people said that, oh, Neil said there's going to be food shortages. He doesn't know what he's talking about. There's no food shortages. But unfortunately, the average person hasn't been taught at school now or educated on this. What do you think food inflation is, which is 13.6% across the board for the UK? What is that 13.6%? That is food shortages, because food globally, there's less food. So all that happens is that food gets sold to wealthier countries. So this is why we're seeing food inflation. That is the shortages, ladies and gents. Otherwise, you'd see food deflation, because there would be too much food, therefore prices would go down. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand this, and they like to blast on the videos in the comments. But there you go. Percent in a year. Olive oil's up 38%. Okay. Yeah, okay, and then vegetables up by 25%. UK jobs then are seeing the highest level. People are saying they've lost me. Can you all hear me okay? Can you see me? Yeah, okay, I think we're back, good. Okay, so the other thing, yeah, I'm on a hotel Wi-Fi here, and it's not great. UK citizens are raiding their pensions, they're raiding their savings, and they're selling off their assets at a rapid rate. So what we're seeing are people selling off, second homes, they're selling off boats, they're selling off cars, they're moving out of their main residency, and they're moving into smaller properties because of the amount now of these new energy prices that are coming through. The other thing that was brought up was the healthcare system is collapsing. So this is coming from media outlets around the world talking about the UK. Of course, we don't see this, but this is what they're talking about, the media outlets. And they're saying that the UK healthcare system is collapsing. And they gave an example of the old lady that fell over on the kitchen floor, and she had to wait 8 hours for an emergency ambulance because, all these other issues. There isn't enough emergency ambulance. The staff are striking. 1 million medical appointments were cancelled last year. And the other thing that I thought was really interesting, I pulled this up for you because it said there's councils that are declaring bankruptcy at a rapid rate. So I didn't realise it was so many councils that are actually going bankrupt. We have Birmingham that I streamed and talked about, Croydon, Thurrock, Woking, Slough, Northumbria, Northamptonshire, Kent, Hampshire, Leicester and Nottingham. They've all filed Section 114 notices, which basically means that they can't balance their budget. So in effect, they are bankrupt, but the UK government will need to come in and actually balance this for them. So here's some interesting statistics then about the UK. The median pay is only £27,120. The average pay is £34,500, but the average house price is £350,000 roughly. 12% of the prison population are now made up of non-UK citizens. We have 30% of people are now living in poverty. 39% of people are in poverty. This is, okay, so 30% before housing costs, 39% after housing costs, 36% of children are now in poverty, and it's 52% after housing costs. So 52% of children are now in poverty after housing costs. It's absolutely astounding. And then the other thing that came out just a couple of days ago was the retail report. And I've been waiting for this because I couldn't wait to get my hands on this report because I knew what they were going to focus on in this report. So 90 retailers, leaders, have urgently come together to lobby the Home Secretary to do something about the levels of crime. They've asked for tougher penalties for shoplifters because it went up to £1.76 billion last year, which is $2.1 billion. The level of violence as well towards staff has doubled in the last couple of years. Shoplifting surged 27% in 10 major UK cities this year. Leeds has become the shoplifting capital of the UK, and they've seen an 83% rise in crime. So this is why we're getting these overseas media and authorities now saying, if you want to study and you've got the money, you want to study in the UK, you want to study in America, etc. They're warning, and Sweden's the other one, they're warning, stay away from these places. Stay away from Sweden, stay away from the UK, stay away from the US, because they're saying it's not what it used to be. In India in particular is the one leading the way with this. They're advising their young people not to go to university in the UK. And another statement they said, due to the extreme levels of crime and violence, and they said the chance of being mugged and violently attacked in Leeds or Cardiff, which are two popular universities for Indian students, is so high that it's basically highly likely that this will happen to you at least once at university. I mean, that is staggering. Absolutely staggering. The other thing that's come out at the moment, another report, is that a lot of the cost for student accommodation at some of the universities has skyrocketed. And I thought, that is very bizarre. Why has it skyrocketed when they've gone on this huge building spree? Because the pension funds needed to inject capital and they needed to get this return. Remember, they're always chasing these returns. So they were chasing these returns, they needed capital to be invested. So what did they do? They've been investing the capital into student blocks. And then what happened? Lockdowns, etc. People weren't traveling, so the blocks were empty. Well, now it's saying that a lot, and I don't have the statistics, it's saying a lot of the student blocks have been taken over by the Home Office to house migrants. And then there's another report, which I won't go into because it's crime levels in those areas. And you know what happens whenever I overlap the charts? People either report the videos or they say it's a racist video or he's talking about, making this up. So I'm not going to go into the charts today because I don't want to give anyone an excuse to get this video taken down or reported. And okay, the other thing is about supermarkets. So they've said that security tags, the supermarkets now, the theft is so high and the violence on staff so extreme because it's doubled, and some of these attacks are really, really aggressive, that they're trying to get some support from the government there as well. And they're using security tags for everything from, here we go, baby formula to cheese and meat. I mean, is it that bad that you have to put a security tag on a block of £3 cheese? Well, I guess it is, or a piece of meat or something like that. So the report also said that these are organized gangs that are carrying weapons and threatening the staff while they're emptying the entire stores. But the worst thing is they're saying that the police failed to respond to 73% of these incidents. Staggering, absolutely shocking. So yeah, if you work in retail or you work in the supermarkets or whatever, a few years ago I would have said, fair play to you, good on you for standing up to these, thieves. Now I'd say to you, it's not worth it. Don't even get involved. If someone's got a weapon and they are, whatever, these gangs and stuff, don't even get involved. It's not worth it. You're probably not making enough money to get involved and risk your life or your health with this sort of stuff. But it's exploded. It is up. They're basically saying it's up double now, and they're expecting it to double again because the consequences are not there. So these gangs can just go through and the police will not respond. Again, it says only in 73% of cases, the police did not respond. So that's 27% where they did respond. But even then, they didn't have enough police. They didn't have the right support, the right units in order to deal with the severity of the crime. Yeah, 867, they've said, average incidents a day. 867 incidents a day. And the thieves are no longer afraid of the consequences. 867 a day in the UK. Do you realize how small the UK is as a country? It's not like we're talking about the US or, a big country here, or Europe. We're talking about the United Kingdom. 867 of these a day. It is absolutely staggering. So there we go. That is why these governments around the world are advising their young people to stay away from the UK for all of these different reasons. And they're basically saying that the UK is collapsing, which is what I've been talking about. I think when you sit outside and you look in, it's obvious and you can see it. But when you live in it, you can't see the issues for yourself. And I think that's what we're seeing, because many of you are UK, I know, subscribers. So you are, it's like the frog in water analogy, I guess we can say. Because you're in it all the time, you sort of see it, you're aware of it, but you don't see how extreme it's becoming. I spoke to someone the other day, and I was giving some examples, and they said, yeah, but, it's always been like that. And I saying, always been like that. We grew up at the same time period. I never remember any of this sort of stuff. And, this is where we are now. All right, we're going to see if there's another stream we can do today. Otherwise, we're going to cut it here. And what we've got coming up either tomorrow or Wednesday is a really great interview with Professor Richard Werner, which is going to be very interesting if you know who he is. Very outspoken global macro economist. So he will be on. We've already recorded the interview. It's an hour and 15 minutes long. It's going to be amazing, so valuable. So either that'll be the video Tuesday or Wednesday, and I may do another stream today, but you can probably hear my voice still hasn't recovered from last week. But all right, see you soon.